All right, here we go. Welcome to another edition of Learn Photography with Duck. As always, I am your ever exasperated host, Duck. Bob's chuckling because he knows. Episode 8 today. Oh my goodness. So I decided, I was going to do something with the book module since we started discussing it a couple sessions back, especially with you, Brian. And I figure, let me work with something with the book module. We haven't touched on that in a while. So I go to the book module, or I should say I should tried going to the book module, and I clicked on the tab and it said it gave me an error message saying something about a what was it? A
I
font.
think it was fonts.
Yeah, uh, it was having some kind of font a loading issue. It couldn't load fonts or something. And I'm like, okay, that's a new one for me. I've never encountered that one before. So did a little Google search and come to find out, apparently it does happen on occasion. Usually, if there's, um, if system fonts get screwed up, or in my case, I have thousands of fonts. I'm a font whore, being a graphic designer. So I probably have way too many fonts loading on my system. And of course, I have a library of something like 40,000 fonts. Um, so something's bound to break. And what I found is if you do a reset on when you open up Lightroom, to do a reset, you know, kind of sort of brings you back, not all the way to factory settings, but it kind of resets everything, resets the UI and everything. Um, Alt Shift and then click to open. And for Mac, I think it's Option Shift, click to open. And what it does is it just basically in the background, it kind of resets things, and voila, it worked. So if you ever come across that, now you know what to do. Just do a little factory reset and you're good to go. Hopefully it didn't reset too many things on me, because, I kind of like, yeah, see, I'm getting all kinds of the new pop-ups. Okay, so anyway, what I figure we do today is kind of work with the book module. Um, since you guys have shown a little bit of interest, and see what we can do with it. All right. Now, I haven't done a lot of, I personally haven't used a book module other than playing around with it to get a feel for it. Because I've said in the past, anytime I want to create a book, I don't use Lightroom. I use an actual page layout program called Affinity. And before Affinity, I used, I don't know, I've used so many in the past, but including Corel. And you can even do page layout in Photoshop. It's a little clunky. It's not really designed for that, but you can do it. But anyway, so I figure, let's explore it, see what we can do with it. Okay. So let me, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's working.
There we go. You just mentioned using Affinity or another product besides Lightroom.
Correct.
So I would imagine your workflow has to change. One of the things that was kind of neat about, but my experience is limited, but I worked with the book module is that I could go back and do Lightroomy kind of things to it, and it was, you know, the changes were there on the page. It would seem that if you're doing something with another, that if you don't like the image that you're working on, or if you need to make some modifications to it, you got to go back to your photo editing platform, make changes, and then bring it back to the thing you're working on. Is that
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's correct. So for example, let me just go ahead and switch here and go to, let me share my screen with you guys so you can see full. So I just picked out a whole bunch of images here that I loaded into a collection that I figure, you know, these are all kind of like on the theme of landscapes. So, you know, if I wanted to put together a book with, you know, some of my landscape work, I have it easily accessible. When working within the ecosystem of Adobe, okay, well, let's break it down a little bit simpler. If you're working within the ecosystem of Lightroom, it's very easy because everything is self-contained. So I have my images here that, you know, I can go ahead and just kind of go through. And at any point I can say, okay, I want to insert this image into the page. And it's just a matter of click and drag, and it's in there. That's within the ecosystem of Lightroom. If I want to expand my functionality and the ability to create something a little bit more unique that Lightroom can't give me, because remember, Lightroom, the book module, let me go to the book module. The book module is template based. So, oh, how'd that image get in there? All right, let's get that one out of there. Remove from collection. Okay. So this is template based. So what that means is they partnered with Blurb. Blurb has very specific products that they put together. And they said, okay, since we're partnering with Lightroom for this template, we're going to give all our publishing information to Lightroom to implement into their program. So you can select, you know, a photo book, a magazine, trade book, but you can also create PDFs through here. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to print a hard, you know, actual physical printed book. You can create an ebook by publishing it as a PDF. And of course, you can also export the pages as JPEGs. Okay. And once you have it, you know, you can select whether you want square format, portrait, or landscape, 8x10, or the large format, which is 13x11, or a large square is 12x12. So you have a small square 7x7 or a large square 12x12. All right, so you have a limited selection for the hardbound books, and I believe, if memory serves, these are their flat lay books, meaning when you turn the page, if you have an image that goes across both pages, the pages lay nice and flat. You don't get that curl towards the binding. Okay. So if you are okay, just limited everything to the templates, that's fine. But if you want to get a little bit more artistic, you want to create your own layout, you want to have your own look, you want to uh, add page overlays or deckled edges or whatever it is, okay? Uh, while you still can kind of do it within the book module, for example, if you wanted to create a decal edge, meaning one of those like torn edge effects, you would have to go ahead and export it to Photoshop, add your page your edge effect, bring it back into Lightroom, and then use that in your page. However, you couldn't create a template that has that look and be able to modify it. So, for example, if I wanted to create a specific page effect with, maybe it's got torn edges at the top and bottom, where the negative space is a color, and I want to be able to change that color based on the image, I would need to find a different solution because the book module can't do that. So the next option would be to export my page layouts to Photoshop. So what that would mean is I would then need to edit all my images within within Lightroom, get the edits the way I want, okay? Then export the image to Photoshop and create the page in Photoshop. All right, so actually let me go ahead and open up Photoshop, because what we can do is we can create file, new. Let's say I wanted to do one of those 7" by 7" square format books, right? So I would type it in right here, 7 by 7". Make sure that I have a high enough resolution. All right. Typically for print, I'll type in a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. That doesn't necessarily mean that the presses are going to be that high resolution. Oftentimes they're a lot less, and they're usually some wacky number like 240. All right. But this kind of will cover everything. 8-bit. I will go ahead and create a white background simply because I don't want to have to deal with the funkiness of a transparent background for a page. Okay. And more importantly, there's a little tick mark here right underneath where it says inches and the orientation. It says artboards. So if you go ahead and click on that, what it does is it tells Photoshop that I'm not going to just create one 7 by 7 page. I'm going to have the ability to make several 7 by 7 pages. Okay. All right. Then we can go ahead and say create. All right. So now I say, okay, well, what I want to do is I want to create kind of like a torn paper effect. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer, new blank layer. I'm going to take my lasso tool, and I'm just going to kind of like create this really just jagged effect here. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom. All right. I'm just doing this simply because I don't want to waste time looking for a deckled edge from the internet, which is what I would suggest you do. All right. And then go ahead and fill it in with a black color. Okay. So now I have, you know, my page effect. Okay. And let's say I want to be able to modify that, the color. All right. Because right now I have it just a generic black top and bottom. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and, oops, not a mask, create a solid color adjustment layer over the top of that. And I'm just going to pick a color. Doesn't matter right now. I'm just going to pick, all right, because I can change this. All right. And what I'm going to do is in between the two, I'm going to press and hold the Alt or Option key. And when the symbol changes to that little down arrow, I'm going to go ahead and click. All right. And what that does is it clips it to the layer below it. And as you can see now, the only place that has color is that black edge that I did top and bottom. Okay. And if I double click on that layer, I can come in at any point and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and change my color. All right. So at any point, I can just kind of pick a color out of whatever image that I decide to use. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click and hold a shift click and group those together. And I'm going to call that my deckled edge. I don't know if I even spelled deckled right, but there it is. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and give that a color. All right. Blue. All right. So now I come back here and I said, all right, well, I want to, let's say I want to add this image. Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll do all my edits. I'll get this looking the way I want here in Lightroom. All right. Then I'll go ahead and edit in Adobe Photoshop. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to just take all my adjustments and keep it. And I'm going to go ahead and say edit. It kind of bakes all those settings in. We go back to Photoshop. There's my image. Okay. And then from here, all I have to do is click and drag it from there to that tab. Okay. So click and drag to that tab, hover over it until it switches. And then with the shift key pressed down, I'm going to go ahead and let go. Now it's giving me a warning saying that the target document has a different depth, bit depth than the source. All right, because in Lightroom it's at 16-bit, and remember we set this page up as 8-bit for my page layout. So I'm going to go ahead and, do I want to proceed? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. All right, and obviously it is much bigger than what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and scale this down, bring it under my deckled edge. All right. I'm going to go ahead and shift, drag. All right. And I can probably just drag this so it's just within that deckled edge, okay? And if I wanted to, I can move it left and right, because remember, we're taking a horizontal image and we're making it fit into a square book format, okay? So I could go ahead and make that whole image fit in, and then I would need to adjust, you know, the deckled edges to be a little bit tighter in, okay? So in this case, I'm just gonna bring it up and bring this down till it just covers it, okay? Right, and so what I did is, as you saw, I dropped it below, it's below my deckled edge layer, okay? As a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is on this layer that I created, I'm going to go ahead and double click, and I'm going to go ahead and use a drop shadow. Let's do I want to, no, let's not. Let's do an outer glow. Okay? Now the outer glow by default is typically white with a screen, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that to black and multiply. Okay, and now you can see at the top I get a little bit of a shadow, and at the bottom I get a little bit of a shadow. Had I used the drop shadow is very directional. So I could either get it at the top and not at the bottom, or I could do it at the bottom and not get it at the top. So that's why I did this. All right, and we can change the size. All right, we can change the spread of it. I'm just going to keep it very subtle. 24 is a good one. Okay. And now you can see before and after. It just kind of gives it that little bit of extra, makes it look like that deckled edge is kind of sitting, hovering above my image. Okay. All right. So now I can say, okay, well, you know what? What I'm going to do is I want to add a caption. So now we start getting into making artistic choices. And you can say, okay, how do I want to create a caption? Well, we have blank area at the top and the bottom. All right. That kind of creates a matting effect. All right. What I can do is I can put the text somewhere within that color space. Okay. And I think that's what I'm going to do. And I think what I want to do also is I want to make the lower section, all right, the lower section, see how it's kind of the same height as the top. I think what I want to do is I want to give it a little bit more height at the bottom. All right, so what that does is it gives it a little bit more weight at the bottom and kind of makes it sit properly inside the frame. So I'm going to go back to my frame, make sure that's selected. I'm going to go ahead and since both frames are on the same layer, I'm just going to go ahead and get my marquee tool. Just pick the bottom one and move that up. How much? Roughly about there. Okay. Deselect. Now I got to go to my mask. All right. Oops. Shift. Where's my mask? Oh, I don't have a mask. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I need to add black to my bottom here. So I'm going to go ahead and marquee that and make that black. Just hit the Control Delete and it puts my background color in there. Okay. Deselect that. And now I have a little bit more room at the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse this. And above that layer, I'm going to go ahead and select a text. We're going to make this, let's see, Brooklyn Bridge, New York City. Okay. All right. And I have it right justified. Okay. Right justified. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it here. And we're going to change the font. Oops. And as you can see, told you I'm a font junkie. I have a whole crap load. Oh, this is kind of funky. Okay. And all right. So that's looking pretty good. All right. I want to make a few changes. All right. First thing I want to do is I want to change the color. So I'm going to go ahead and double click and brings up my color picker. But if I move my cursor outside of the color picker, you're going to see that it changes to a little reticle, target reticle. That means I can hover anywhere on my image here, and I'm going to select a sample of the color there. Okay. Now, how much of a sample is determined by this right here, sample size. All right. So we have point sample, meaning it's going to pick from a single pixel, 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 11, blah, 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 all the way up to, very seldom suggest that we're going this high, but I'm sure there are reasons for having it. I usually keep it either 3 by 3 or 5 by 5. And what it's going to do is it's going to take a 3 by 3 grid or a 5 by 5 grid, average out those colors, and load that color into the color picker. So I can go with something like that blue sky. That looks pretty good. Or I might say, you know, well, I'm going to maybe pick something from the bridge. I don't know. Makes that bridge kind of, it loses a little bit of something. That's not too bad. I kind of like that blue better. All right. So I can go ahead. And then once it's selected, you can modify it and say, okay, I want to go brighter, I want to go darker, and so on. Okay. So I'm just going to make it a little bit more muted and a little bit darker. And that looks good. I also want to change my aspect ratio. I'm going to come in and bring this up since we made the bottom a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So now you can see the power of being able to create something in Photoshop versus doing something within Lightroom. There's no way you can get this kind of creativity inside of Lightroom. If you wanted to get this kind of creativity, you would have to take and do everything in Photoshop, take this, bring it back into a Lightroom, and then use this layout within a generic blank layout page within Lightroom. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. What file style would you put, JPEG or DNG?
Well, it would import it back into Lightroom as a TIFF file. So you still get that you know, really, really good quality file. But when it exports it to go to print, it will export it as a JPEG. Okay. Now, remember, I created a template as an 8-bit. I could very easily have created the template as a 16-bit to retain a little bit more fidelity. However, if you're going to use any filter effects, the filter effects only work on 8-bit. So they would be, you know, you would have to either convert to 8-bit or just say, well, I can't use any of the filter effects. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing is, you know, I can look at that white text and it says, oh, maybe I don't want, you know, white text. Let's see what it looks like with, you know, a contrasting color. Okay. And that actually looks pretty good. Okay. Now, because this is an artboard, okay, I can go ahead and go to my artboard tool. All right. And within the artboard, so I have, okay, make sure you got your artboard layer selected. Okay. So within the artboard, I have all my layers. Okay. So make sure you're on the artboard. As soon as you're on the artboard, you're going to see these little plus symbols. All right. All these little plus symbols show up. Okay. In the artboard, make sure you're in the artboard. Okay. If I click on that, it's going to generate a new blank artboard. Okay. There's my page 2. Okay. So now I can say, all right, well, what I want to do is I want to take that deckled edge and that font. So I'm going to Control C to copy it. All right. I'm just going to take these two and Control copy. Go to my artboard 2 and Control V, Option V, and just paste it in. Okay. And I'm going to make a few little bit modifications here. I'm going to take the text and I'm going to make it left justified. And I'm going to bring it in over here. Okay. Now, I'm not getting overly technical with this. You can see I just kind of eyeballed the placement. However, if you want to get a little bit technical, I would then, you know, go ahead and bring in some guides to help make sure that I line everything up from page to page. Okay. So I might create a bunch of guides. One for left page, one for, one for left page, one for right page, right? And then if I double click on these, it brings up my, it's not what I wanted. Let's try right clicking, edit, okay? And then I can punch in the actual position of where I want all these guides. Okay, so that way I know that as I'm working through everything's going to line up. Okay, all right. So now I can go back to my Lightroom and I can say, okay, I'm going to, let's pick another New York image. Let's pick this one. Control edit in Adobe Photoshop. Okay. As a matter of fact, this one here, I can go ahead and close this. I don't need that anymore. click and drag this over to my artboard. Target is not, say yes. Okay, I forgot to hold my option key. Drag that down below my deckled edge. All right, and then resize and drag it over where I want. Okay, hit enter. Go to my text. T to enter the text edit. And let's do Statue of Liberty, New York City. Okay. All right. Now, here's where it gets a little bit fun. All right. We're going to create another artboard right below this one. Okay. I'm going to put that right above there. If at any point I said, oh, you know what? I don't want artboard 2 there. I want it here. I can go ahead and move that out of the way. All right. Click on artboard 2, bring that where I want. All right. And just like that, I'm reordered. Okay. Just realize that now, because I changed the order, I'm going to need to come back in and make a change on my template. Okay, well, on my layout. Let me rephrase that, on my layout, because I did not create a template. I don't have templates available in Photoshop like I would with other programs. Okay, so in this case, I would need to take that Statue of Liberty and change the justification and bring it over to the other side so that it matches. Okay, so while I have a lot of opportunity to make, you know, some really custom elements here, I am also adding additional work to myself because I have a lot more manual stuff that I have to do in order to keep my pages looking the way I want. So if I make a change, I may need to tweak it. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open up Affinity, just so you get a sense of what we're talking about with page layout. Oh, an update's available. Let's not install it right now. We're just going to create a new. We're going to go, let's see, print, letter size. We're going to create artboards. So, all right. So now we're talking about a new piece of software, and as with anything else, it's a tool. You're going to need to learn how to use the tool. All right, but I'm not going to get into learning a bunch of stuff here. I just want to show you some of the benefits of utilizing a template-based or I'm sorry, a publishing based software. All right, and let's make this 7 by 7 inches. Let's keep them all the same here, 7 by 7. 300 DPI, 8-bit, artboards. I don't want transparent backgrounds. Multi-page, margins. All right, so here's where we start getting a little bit more nuanced to creating templates. All right, we can set our templates or our margins. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set 1-inch margins all the way around. If you're working with a print house that requires the documents that you give them to contain a bleed limit, that's where you would go in. Usually it's roughly 0.125 inches. Okay. Drawing scale, no. And then we say create a document. Okay. Let's see. Let's go document, edit. Let's see. File. Where is it? Oh, setup, document setup. Let's change our margins. Oh, not here. I can't even remember. Oh, that's why I'm not. Let's go into the layout. Document setup. No. Cancel. Where's my margins? I don't remember where my margins are. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so just like in Photoshop, we have our blank page. All right. However, we can say we are going to create a multi-page document. Okay. Let's cancel this. Where's my layout? Okay, I don't remember. Where's my artboard tool? Okay, there we go. Close, artboard. Okay. All right. Document. Actually, this is wrong. Hold on. Cancel. File, new. Create. Where is it? Inches. We're going to go 7 by 7. We're not going to go artboard. We're going to go multi-page. There we go. Multi-page. Facing pages. So that means we're going to have a right and a left. All right. We're going to populate it with 4 initial pages. Our margins, let's do 0.5. All right. And our bleed's going to be 0.125. There we go. Create document. That's what we wanted. Sorry, guys. Okay. So on the screen to the left, we see our page layout. All right. And if you look at this in comparison to our Lightroom book, okay, we're seeing this layout here that's on the left. That is our main layout within Lightroom, okay? So what we're doing is we're seeing the our preview and thumbnail view as the main screen in Lightroom, whereas here we are seeing the main screen is the individual page, while on the left we get our thumbnail view. Okay, so that's one difference, which is fine. Okay, the other thing we're going to notice is up here we have pages. Oops, where's the pages? And we have master pages. Okay, pages and master pages. All right, so watch what we do here. On the master page, let's close this up. We're going to add a new master page, and we're going to call it Deckled Edge. Deckled Edge. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of mimic. All right, we're going to go OK, and we're going to now have to go to our vector section, and we're going to take a pencil and we're going to pencil. I'm going to go ahead and recreate that. Okay, now I'm doing this as a vector simply because I am very familiar with vector files. You probably aren't going to be, so I would suggest you do this within, like for example, a bitmap file, okay? Just because it's going to be a little bit easier for you to manipulate. Come on. All right, and we're going to make that black. All right, just out of necessity, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. Now, you guys don't really need to know how to do all of this. All right. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and combine those. Now, at any point, I can change the color of this because we are working with a whatchamacallit, a vector file. Okay. All right, I'm going to add a text box. Where's my text box? And we're going to call this. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to add a text box. However, I am going to go ahead and duplicate this and flip it. And we're just going to choose a different color just so you guys can see. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to the layout right up here. All right. And I now have, if you look at the top, I have master pages. All right. With the deckled edge. Okay. And I have my blank pages down here. All right, so now I can go ahead and click here. I am now on this, and I can then say, all right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and apply a master. I'm going to apply the deckled edge to my specific pages, okay? And I'm going to say okay, and it applies it. All right. So what does this do? This allows me to now create a bunch of different templates up here in the master pages area with different effects, different colors, different whatever it is I want, different text styles, different whatever, it doesn't matter. I create it up here, and at any point I can go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and apply one of those masters. Okay, and voila. All right. And if I wanted to, I can come in here and we're gonna, can I? No, I can't. All right. I can't change anything, okay, because it's attached to the master. However, I could, right above it, apply a solid color adjustment. Where's my recolor? Okay. And at any point, I can go ahead and change it to whatever I want. Okay. So pretty much the same thing with Photoshop, except the benefit of this is as I add artboards into Photoshop, that file is going to get huge. All right, and very unwieldy. It's not the best program for page layout. This is a page layout program. So it's going to keep those files a lot smaller and a lot easier to manipulate. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this image. I'm just going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it in. Can I paste it in? No, it won't let me paste it in. And I can't do it from, all right, I would have to open it up and let's see. From here, I would have to go ahead and export. Okay. Export. At this point, I would probably export as a TIFF file, just so I have the fidelity. Okay. Let's see. Full JPEGs. JPEG. TIFF. Right. Location. File rename, settings. All right, no, let me just do, I don't want to do that. Let me go YouTube. Where do I have them? I don't remember. Well, let me just pick one. Social media. Let's just do this. Desktop, social media, we'll throw it in there. I'm not going to rename it, and I'm not going to, we go to TIFF and resize, no. Sharpen, no, we're not going to sharpen it. Watermark it, no, we're not going to watermark it. There we go. Export. Now I have it here. I can go back to my program, pick this, click and drag it. There we go. Okay. And then I can drop it down below. All right. Make sure that that here gets clipped to, can I clip it? Yes, I can't. Can I? There we go. Okay. And I have it. And then I can just size this down, size it, size it, size it. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, the nice thing about this is at any point I can take that and I can say, I'm going to move that right there. Okay. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go ahead and create a placeholder. All right. And I'm going to put that within the placeholder. There we go. Put that down below. Good. Bring that up, bring that up. There we go. Now I don't get any overspill. Okay. And then on top of that, I can go ahead and this is where it gets a little bit fun. Okay. I'm going to put my title text. So Statue of Liberty, New York City. Okay. And we have a bunch of text styles. Okay. So heading 1, or let's see, we'll put it on this side here. We're going to make that heading 1. We're going to go ahead and edit this. Okay. Font color, we're just going to pick kind of like a yellow color maybe. Say okay. My font's going to be, I don't remember what we used. We'll pick something funky. We'll pick something nice. Oh, Kim Inline. Let's go for that. Okay. We'll make that 24 points. We'll make it, let's see, position. Where's it? Typography. Paragraph. There we go. We're going to make it left justified. Okay. And say okay. Okay. All right. Now, why is that important? Because now what I can do is every time I want to, let's see, let's do another one here. We're going to call this insert title here. Okay. Just to be different. And we're going to apply that heading style. Okay. Now watch. Later on, I say, you know what? I'm not really sure if I like that font. Okay. And you have 20 pages already laid out. And you say, well, I don't want to have to go in, change it on all 20 pages. Now I can double click on here. I can say, okay, I don't want that font style. Let's go to this one here. All right. And instead of that yellow color, I want something a little bit more vibrant. Okay. So I can go ahead and change the color. All right. Apply style to selection. All right. And there we go. It's going to change it across the board for anything that has that heading 1 label. Okay. And the nice thing is you can make as many labels as you want or as you need for your book. Okay. So if you want to have maybe a little description, you can have a description. You want a different type of title. All right, so maybe you create one for titles on the left page and titles on the right page, whatever it is that you want, okay? It's a little bit more work because now you have to make all the choices. You have to make all the decisions. You have to put the work into creating the templates. But once they're done, if you need to make a change across the board, you can go ahead and do so. All right. Any questions about the differences? This is just an introduction. I'm not, it's not designed to go deep into creating pages and stuff for you guys. Questions, comments?
Oh,
I'm
my,
still
my.
pulling it together here.
All right. Now, I said last time, do you need a page layout program that has all the bells and whistles like Affinity does?
No.
If you're just starting out, probably not. You can probably get away with what you can do within Lightroom. All right, because Lightroom, it's designed to make it easy. All right, you want to change a template here, we just change it. We just go, here's one, with a photo on the left and text on the right. Okay. And then you would have to just go ahead and let me grab some text, some dummy text. Where's my, oh, I don't have, let's see. Lorem ipsum is typically what's considered dummy text. Okay. All right. Let me make a copy. Oh, there we go. Control V. All right. Copy another one and paste that in. Okay.
So where's
All
the
right.
text
So
come from? You type it
it's
somewhere else, some word program?
yeah. So what I did is I just went online and I just had generated some dummy text for me. That's all I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
so when you're doing yourself, you just any word program.
Yeah. So what you would want to do if you're going to include text, you'll want to figure out what you want your text to say for all your images, and use a notepad if that's what you want, a word processor. I like using Google Drive You can create, you know, documents in Google Drive and say, okay, you know, this image gets, do it as a table. All right. Image one, or um, you know, use the image titles. All right. So in this case, this is, what is this? Let's go to library. IR73176. All right. So I would just take the file number, file name. All right. IR73176-edit. And in a Word document, I will go ahead and, you know, reference that, write whatever it is that I want to say about that particular image. And then when I'm ready to lay out my book, I just copy and paste it in, you know. And if at any time you say, oh, I made a mistake, or maybe this should be broken up into another paragraph, okay, you can do that right within the program here, okay. All right. If you say, okay, well, you know, I don't know if I like that particular layout. Maybe I want to do, instead of having it a bleed, maybe I want to do something like this. Okay. If I don't like that, you know, maybe I'll do something where we got, oh, smaller. Okay. And that's got a funky edge to it. Okay. My space for my text is a lot more limited, so I obviously would have to make sure that I pick a layout that's going to flow with my text, or pick the text that works with the layout. Okay. However, at any point, I can say, all right, well, I'm going to modify this because I actually have more text than I do. And I'm just going to make my little adjustments. Okay. So you can modify it. Okay. But you're still limited. My text, the font that I use is global, meaning the font that I use here is going to be the same font as I use in, you know, any other page. Okay. Let's go back to, okay, so if I have, let's do this one here. Change this up to have, let's see, let's do this one here. Okay, and we're going to just paste that one here. And just for simplicity's sake, let's say this one is just small amount. And I say, you know what, I just want to put it at the bottom. Okay, there we go. All right.
Like the font
It's
will
the
be the same font throughout the thing.
It's the same font. It's the same font. Okay. So if I want to, the text, okay, let's see, text style. All right. Custom. Let's see, where is it? Oh, can I? Can I? Oh, I stand corrected. I think. Okay, we can't change it on the fly. You can't change it on the fly. All right, so I stand corrected. Okay. You just don't have the widespread global changes like you would with a page layout. Okay. Now, if I recall, you should be able to also add text. Add photo text. Okay. So, you know, angel in cemetery. Okay. So you can caption your images if you want. All right. You also have the ability to put page numbers. All right. And you can also create kind of like a watermarked background image. All right. So I can take and use the same image to create a nice, you know, kind of like opaque version of my image. All right, so do that at 25%. Okay. Let's see. Or if you don't want the graphic, you can do a color. Just pick a color that you kind of like. That's a little, oof. Okay. So you do have flexibility. Okay. But you're locked to these templates. Okay. But you know what? You got a heck of a lot of different options available. Okay. All right. So it all depends on, you know, what is your comfort level with creating pages or page layouts. How granular do you want to get with the control of your page layouts? How artistic do you want to get? All right, because you can see, even though we have a heck of a lot of different options for page layouts, you know, we can do 2 photos. We can do, you know, multiple photos. All right. We have some creative stuff with, here we go, with some, come on, view. There we go. With some edges. Okay. All right. You are limited to what is available in the template pack. Okay.
You know, Doug, when I was doing this last time, I seem to remember that even within the templates, you could add some components to them, like add extra little text boxes underneath here, or
Yes. Yes,
something
you can.
to give you a little more. Because I think I designed one page that had something kind of special. Still is kind of limited, but it gave some nice little options. I guess where you could put the photo tag, I guess, or the photo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Add photo tag. Oops. There we go. Yeah. Like I said, you know, there is some room for modification. within the limits of the template. All right. How creative you get, it's entirely up to your imagination. Okay. However, if you want to create your own look, your own style, your own vision, you know, nothing beats being able to start fresh from a blank canvas and adding all the elements and text elements and graphic elements and color choices, you know, from scratch. You can still do it within the confines of Lightroom. You know, you're just limited to how you create the pages. All right. I shouldn't say the word limit because it really isn't a limit. I mean, you have certain boundaries that you can't exceed, but there's a lot of flexibility, you know, there really is. Yeah.
Going back to the very start of how you do this, you made a smart collection.
Yes.
Now, I seem to remember in my Lightroom that when I was starting to do it again, I got a little confused. You make a collection, and then how do you attach that collection to what you're doing with the book? Or where does that connection happen?
Yeah. So I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to just come back here to the, let's see, solo mode. I'm just going to come back to the library module. Okay. In the collections section here. All right. Make sure I'm on the right page. Yeah. Okay. In the collection section. Okay. You think of it like filing cabinets. Okay. I have portfolios. I have smart collections. The smart collections that's in your Lightroom, that's something that Adobe set up. You can add to those if you want. Okay. Which one is it? This one here. So colored green, colored red, 5 stars, past month. These are pre-built by Lightroom. So you can play around with those, see, you know, what creates a smart collection. But let's just go here, okay? With a smart collection, what you're going to do is you're just going to come up and click on the plus arrow, okay? And you have your choice. You can create a regular collection, okay? A regular collection, you have to physically, manually move an image into the collection, or not move, add it into your collection, okay? Which is good if you want to be very particular about curating your collection, okay? A smart collection is automated. You tell Lightroom what the automations are. For example, you want to use a very specific keyword, all right? And also images that have a certain rating. So for example, if you like using stars and you want to build your book on just 5-star images, you're going to have that as one of the criterias. All right. And then a collection set is like the filing cabinet where you can have multiple collections inside a set. Okay. So I already have a set called Smart Collection. I'm going to go ahead and create a smart collection within that. And then you get to name it. I'm just going to name this test. Okay. And now we need to, we're going to put it inside my smart collection folder. Okay. And we have some Boolean choices that we need to make. All right. any, all, or none. All right. So we can filter by, that. Okay. So any or all. All right. We'll do with all. And then we have to give it some rules. All right. So what are the rules? Well, anything with a rating of greater than or equal to, let's see, 4 stars. So anything 4 stars and above. It's not going to give me a lot of results simply because I usually don't use stars. Okay. I tend to use colors. So let's go. Label color is green. All right. Green is my default for it's ready to go. Okay. I'm going to create a new one. So we go here. Okay. Oops. Let's edit. Okay, because right now it's got 9,050 images. All right, let's pare that down. We're going to add, let's see, a source. Let's see. No, we're gonna other metadata keyword that contains hashtag. All right, and if we don't know what we want, all right, we will need to cancel this out for a second, go to our keyword list, all right, and refresh our memory as to what we want. All right, so let's say let's see, learning photography with duck. Let's let's do selfie, hashtag selfie. All right, so plus let's see, where was it? Other keywords, hashtag selfie. All right, make sure that it's spelled the correct way. All right, and save. Oh, no photos in the smart collection. All right, let's double click. Let's remove the label color and see what we get. Oh, see, I misspelt it. All right, so let's add that back in. Color, label color is green. There we go. Save. Now we have a bunch. And we have a bunch that are being pulled from a drive that's not connected, so they're going to be blank. But look at all these. All right, these are all selfies that are labeled green. Okay. All right, so that's one way you can do it. What's that?
I'm looking at my thing here under my smart collections. I made something, another level called book, and then underneath that, I've got the books. There's my first book I did. So it's
okay.
within that when you create those that you put what you just went through to get them the ones that come in. And I think that's what I did.
Yes.
Everything on critters. Okay.
So the other thing you can do, all right, is create a custom keyword that gets triggered specifically for your project. All right. So for example, that one that I was working on with the landscapes, this one here. All right. So if I double click on that. Oh, that's not a smart collection. That's a regular collection. Never mind. Let's see.
Well, I think I did that already too because I'm looking here and remembering that for my everything, my critters book was everything that's a book has an ampersand in front of it. So I might have done things to make keywords that all were ampersand. Because I also was
Yes.
using pound signs or something else.
Yes.
I think you did that in one of our classes.
That's correct. So like for example, this one here, let's see, well, this one here. This is where I was playing around with, you know, some artsy fartsy actions that I had downloaded. All right. I kind of gave it this painterly look. All right. If we look at the, go back to the library, I have a very special hashtag, you know, Fine Art America. All right. Hashtag FAA. So now any image that gets tagged with that hashtag FAA only lands in this collection. Okay. So the nice thing about it is, like, for example, here's one for Ireland book. I don't have the drive plugged in, so it's not going to give me anything. Yeah, it's not going to give me anything. Landscapes. Okay. Here's one. Anything with the term landscape book. Okay. Anything with that hashtag is going to land in my landscape smart folder. Okay. All right. So now when I am in my regular day-to-day, I say, okay, you know what? I am going to go through my library and I go, oh, here's a nice photo. Let me add that to. All right. Actually, I think that's already in there. Yeah. So I can say, okay, this one here. All right. Let's say I kind of like this image here. I can go ahead and I have my, if you notice, over on the right hand side, I have my metadata tags, keywords open. So all I got to do is just come over here where it says landscape book. I can click on that and add that hashtag to this image just by that. Okay. So now when I go back to my collections and I go to landscapes, where's my landscapes smart collection? Grid. Is this oh, you know what? This isn't a smart collection. Okay. So let's create one smart collection. Let's just change this. Instead of selfie, it's hashtag landscape book. And again, make sure it's properly spelled. Landscape book. And I'm going to get rid of the green. Save, and there we go. Okay. And now I should be able to find, there it is, right there. That's the one that got added. Okay. And if I don't want it, I can just uncheck that and it removes it. Okay. As a matter of fact, you can remove that one as well. And we can remove that one as well. Okay. So now for my books, with the landscape, it's going to automatically, cycle through all of those and make, add and remove images as needed. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah, I'd forgotten how to make the connection to that to the book. What you just described, I guess I've been doing a lot of that. I have these pound keywords I've set up and for various little projects, and sometimes I've spent evenings just doing that, combing through old photography directories and
Mm-hmm.
tagging those things for later use.
Let's see.
Really what I wanted to do
2-page
with the,
spreads. 2-page spreads. We're going to make that one. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Remove. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So the nice thing about this too is that you can preview the layout of your book, and you can say, all right, well, this one needs to be over here and that one needs to be there. Okay, so you can click and drag things around as needed, and make changes. Okay. Here's another one where I would probably take this and convert this to a 2-page spread. Oh, I don't know why it keeps
Adding pages.
oops. Oh, I know why. Because I took 2 singles and told it to create each of those 2 singles into a full page spread instead of just doing one. Here. All right. So here, let me we'll do this one here. All right, we'll turn this into a 2-page spread. All right, there we go. That's better. Okay, and then now I have, I still have extra pages that I can go ahead and remove. Here's another one. Create 2-page spread. There we go. And then remove these. Okay. You can also do 2-page spread. Instead of a full 2-page, we just do a page and a half. Can we do? Oh, that's not what I want. Yeah, it doesn't do it. Okay. See, I found a limitation. There's not a template for what I wanted to do. I wanted, let's see, can I? Won't let me. Oh, yeah, it will. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Maybe it will. There we go. There we go. That's That's more like it.
Because you don't want it adding a page because you're putting it on an odd page. So it has to make the
Yeah,
photos
yeah,
even nice.
that's
the
yeah,
one you're adding. That's why it's getting an
that
extra page because you're on an odd page. So it has to make up the book.
correct. Yeah, 2-page
That's an
spread.
issue problem.
Yeah. Remove pages. Let's go ahead and size that up. And what do I want? Okay, I got a lot of panorama images. Okay. Yeah, we'll remove this page. We don't want that. Remove. There we go. I don't know what the hell that is. Why is that on there? Remove pages. Remove pages. All right, you get the gist. Let's remove these. All right, and then you would whittle it down to, you know, however many pages you want. I think the minimum is, correct me if I'm wrong, 20 pages left and right
Yeah, it seems
facing.
like
So
that's the
10,
number.
10
Blurred,
yeah, 10 pages. Left and right would be 20 pages. 10 sheets, 20 pages. I think that's the minimum. So,
But you just go
but
back through the there's a little flow that you kind of get into with this after a while, and you start to understand some of like what he was just saying about, it'll stick another page in there for you because it's got to keep it odd and even and
correct.
moving around and those kinds of things. So now that I look at it, it's not a bad way to organize, to help plan for a book. Because, like I said too, you can print this thing out as a PDF pretty easily.
Right, right. So, okay.
And you were saying there a minute ago, you didn't think you could do what you wanted to do with the limitation. I think you're trying to go on a page and a half with the image and then put some text next to that.
Correct.
Yeah, I think there is a way just to add a text box.
There,
So you
there,
sort of
yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. Again, you know, part of the problem is I don't really spend any time with this program simply because, you know, I have alternatives. So I haven't given this its due process, you know. And that's my fault. That's my fault. You know, so but anyway. So
Not your fault.
yeah,
No,
you
it's not your
do.
fault, Doug. It's not
What's
your
that?
fault because you're more familiar with the other one. This one you
I
have to
am.
learn it.
I am.
That's not a fault. Your
Um,
graphic design comes in.
yeah, that's
knowledge.
true. That's true. But if I'm gonna sit here and teach you something, I should know. I should know enough about it to at least be able to speak intelligently on it.
Oh,
So.
not necessarily. You're showing us that it's not. You don't make mistakes. You trial and error to make your own, build your own knowledge in the program.
Well, there is something to that, but you have to understand that my trial and error has a lot of foundational information in graphic design and book layout that I've learned years and years ago. So as the trial and error isn't so much error as in alternatives. Where somebody who doesn't have that foundational information, then it's really trial and error.
Okay.
You know, because I'm relying on you know, a lot of page layout basics, you know, um, so there is that. So anyway, you know what? I should probably finish this book and get it printed because these are, I love these photos. So anyway, uh, I definitely got to get my Ireland photos printed in a book. I've been saying that for years, so. All right. Anyway, guys, hopefully this gave you a little bit more confidence to play around with this.
Yeah.
You know, and create something a little bit more artistic. Any other questions?
Not to just send it out in a PDF, but you could send it to somebody and they can see it without printing it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think I mentioned last time that magazine that I put together. Did I show you guys that? Where is it? I think I put it back.
You know, even that I printed, the Critters book.
The Critter book, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got that. I printed it out as a PDF, and I've got a short link to it. So if I want to show someone, I just can.
There you go. Yep. Absolutely. You know, which is a great way of sharing it through email to family and friends.
Right.
But here's the thing, okay? When there you go. He's sharing the link. When you share it with family and friends through an email, what I would also do is share the link for them to be able to buy the hardbound book from your Blurb account.
Yeah.
You know, don't just send them the PDF and say, here you go, have fun. Send them the PDF and says, hey, if you want a hardbound printed book, this is where you can get it. You know? And then you have the options of either selling it to them at cost or building a little bit of profit for yourself. Even if it's $5, cup of coffee, right. You know? All right, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
So hopefully that's a little bit of persuasion to get that book going. Especially you, Bob. Come on, we got to get a book from you. You got to have tons of images, you know?
I have to have time to concentrate on stuff. My wife doesn't let me alone. She's always asking questions. Like, you try to learn something, and even when she asks me something, I say, be quiet. Let me figure out how to do it so I can tell you once and it'd be correct the first time. Because when I make mistakes, I can rethink it and it doesn't bother me. But if you tell her something, it's installed the first time. So that's the problem with her.
Yeah. Well, you know. But the thing is, you know, just do it when you got some quiet time away from her. You know. That's why I like working on a computer at home while my wife is watching TV. You know, she's concentrating on the TV. She's got some chick flick going on. She doesn't care less what I'm doing, you know. So I'll be on the computer, you know, doing my own stuff.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm watching.
Well, I'm not gonna get you in trouble with your wife, but the nice thing about having a printed book, it becomes legacy that you can pass down to your kids and grandkids. You know, you got grandkids. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to sit down on the couch with your grandkids and open up the book and say, here, you know, this is where I was. Look at the pictures I took. And it's impressive when it's in, you know, that printed format.
Maybe I'll do that on my China too. I have about 50,000 pictures in China. I just got to sort them out.
Sort them out. Print, you know, You don't need to keep one image per page, you know.
No,
Tell a story, you know, do a layout with maybe three images that kind of lead up to like one really big one. So on the left facing page, you got 2 or 3 small images, and on the right side, you got your wow image, you know, all with that context of the story leading up to it. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. We're not getting together next week. Have yourselves a great St. Patrick's Day. Drink lots of green beer.
That's tomorrow, ain't it?
Yeah. And we'll see you next month. Okay. All right, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you for watching Learning Photography with Duck. Brought to you in association with Milford Photo, your local full-service camera store. Located in downtown Milford, Connecticut, Milford Photo offers you a personalized shopping experience. From the latest camera gear to printing and framing services. And, of course, educational workshops to teach you the finer aspects of photography. Don't forget to tell them Duck sent you.